So today we'll talk about how to build your email list through landing pages and lead generators. Real quick, a lead generator is just something that you're going to offer your prospective customers to get them into your sales funnel. So it needs to be informative. It needs to solve a problem. It needs to be attention-getting, and ideally for you, inexpensive to produce, both in terms of the money it takes to produce it and in your time, because most of us are usually short in both those departments. So shown here is an example of a lead generator we did for Ulfa. This was a guide that was put together to find a new audience for their tools, which are primarily used in the sewing and quilting sector. So we put together a guide for hand weavers. Okay, so you probably are wondering what you should offer. Probably the most common is a free pattern, coupon, or discount in exchange for email sign up. But you could also do an ebook, particularly if you have a series of blog posts that work well together. You can package them all up into an ebook that's downloadable. You could do a video series that shows how your products are used or some techniques, things like that. You could do a checklist. I'm moving a little bit, and my moving company had a free PDF checklist that walks you through everything you need to do from start to finish. And I found that extremely helpful. You could also do a bonus upgrade to some popular content on your site, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but here's an example of that. If you want to get the free pattern, you just have to enter your email address, so that ties into a blog post on Abby Glassenberg's website. Or you could do printables, so that could be anything from a checklist is technically a printable, but I've seen a lot of people doing coloring pages for people who are bored during their sheltering in place. We did some care tags for some of our clients who sell yarn, so things like that. Don't be afraid to get creative. And once you've created your offer, you're going to need to build an effective landing page so that people can come, check it out, see what you're offering, and decide whether or not they want to opt in to get this stellar content you've produced. So here are the elements of what each landing page should have. First, an attention-getting headline. And in this example, for the Quilter's Planner, you could see trying to do a million things and not making real progress on any of them. That gets people's attention, and then they can just keep reading. So from there, you want to really explain the benefits. The more specific, the better, because you want to attract the target audience, and you want to speak to what their needs are and let them know what they're signing up for. And it's kind of hackneyed, but show, don't tell. So you really want to show them with a really nice image or even a video what they're getting and what you offer them in exchange for doing the action that you want them to do. We also recommend using elements of social proof or trust signals. So that could be anything from quotes from satisfied customers or influencers who've shared your product, reviews on their own channels, anything like that, just something that adds credibility to your claims and your offer. And then last but not least, and the most important, you want a call to action. A strong call to action clearly describes what you want the viewer to do when they visited this page. So you can see it here in the blue bar, download your free planner pages. Boom, they click there, they sign it up for your email, and then they get to download the planner pages. So we'll just show you a couple more examples so you can see all these elements in use. Here is the guide for hand weavers that we created for Ulfa, and that's the landing page we created for it. Very simple text, lets people know what they're getting, that they're going to be added to the newsletter, and all they have to do is enter their email there, subscribe. Very simple, but effective. We've done a couple free patterns for some of our clients that have tied into charity events. So here's a couple examples here. Again, we've used some nice hashtags there. We've let them know, again, what they're opting into, and then get the pattern or sign up. Very simple but strong calls to action. And here is a free guide we created for Strouch. It's downloadable and it helps people decide what kind of drum carder they want, and then they learn how to use it and maintain it. So it's kind of an all-in-one comprehensive guide that helps new people who've never heard of Strouch or drum carding before get to know this product a little bit better. Okay. So once you've set up your landing page, you want your potential customers to get whatever content you're promising them as soon as possible. Otherwise, they might start sending you a lot of emails or leaving comments on the other social posts, and you definitely don't want them wondering where it is, because that can kind of erode their trust in you. You want to make a good first impression. So we always recommend using some sort of automation to give that thing to them as soon as possible. So we used a couple examples here. This is the delivery mechanism for the free pattern from Bijou Basin Ranch on the far left. Or on the right, we created a couple printables for Strouch, and people can select if they want the BAT planning worksheet, the spinning project tracker, whoopsies, or both. My computer is a little sensitive right there. Most of your newsletter clients will have some sort of automation built in, MailChimp and Constant Contact in particular, but you could also use another app like Lead Pages or Unbounce. So as long as they can feed into your list and you don't have to do that manually. Okay, so now you have a great piece of content and a landing page where people can learn all about it, and people are just gonna show up and find it magically, right? Not necessarily. So there's a lot of competition and distraction out there. And so here's my top 3 tips to help your content and your offer stand out. So first, a pop-up. I know a lot of people think that they're annoying, but when used correctly, a pop-up on your website can convert a lot of people to your offer. I recommend delaying the pop-up so it doesn't show up right away. You want to give people a chance to look around on your website, get to know you, and decide whether or not they even like what you're selling. So if you can delay it about 20 to 30 seconds, or even set it up to do what's called exit intent, where it can tell when you're about ready to exit out of the window, then that's ideal. Okay. Next, social media. Not all your fans are going to be on your newsletter list, but you'd like them to be. So you could start with creating an image with text overlay to post on Instagram. What's really important here is to make sure that whatever link is in your profile can get them exactly to that offer so that they don't have to search around, because they probably won't. And even if they do and they can't find it easily, they're going to get really frustrated. So just make it simple by either directly linking in your profile or using an app like Linktree, where you can have multiple links that they can select once they click on it. Next, I recommend posting the offer on your Facebook page, again, linking directly to that landing page you set up, and then pin that post to the top of your page for the duration of the offer if it's limited, or in perpetuity if it's something that you offer year-round. The idea here is, especially if someone finds you and they're new to what you do, that post is right at the top of your page so they can see it and decide whether or not they want to opt in before they scroll down to see what other kinds of content you're posting. If you have a Facebook group or community for your business, or if you're part of something that relates to your business, that's a great place to offer the content that you're producing to members. You just want to make sure that if it's not a group that you own, it's not in violation of the rules. You don't want to appear spammy. So just make sure you have permission to post if it's not a group that you actually are the administrator for. And then last but not least, you definitely want to harness the power of Pinterest, which is a great search engine that's really sorry, just got a little distracted, that uses the graphic elements. So you want a really nice eye-catching image. You want it to be very clear what people are going to get so that they are motivated to not only pin and reshare, but click over to your content to get that free pattern or free guide or free printable. So just make sure that you share that regularly using relevant keywords in the description. Okay, and my third tip is to offer content upgrades on content that's already on your website. So this is a little bit of a reverse engineer, but it's a great way to make the most of stuff that's already on your site. And especially if you aren't sure what to offer, you can use some of these steps to figure out, okay, well, maybe I could do this. A great place to start is Google Analytics. So you can use that to identify your most popular posts and then decide, you know, maybe you want to take that free pattern that everybody keeps viewing and offer them a downloadable version of it when they sign up, like the example here. Or you can also look up the keywords that are bringing people to your website and start to tailor content that fits with those themes. So once you look at those posts, determine what you can add as bonus free content, you can create it and then add links to the posts offering the free bonus content in exchange for signing up for your newsletter. And if you have a lot of different posts, like for example, the drum carder example that we used earlier in the slide deck, we've got a lot of blog posts for Strouch that talk about different aspects of drum carding, but every single one of those, you could offer the free guide to drum carding 101 to people who are viewing it, because if it's evergreen content, people are constantly finding it. So that's another thing to keep in mind when you think about how to package and offer this freebie in exchange for someone's email. Okay.